Let me call the meeting to order. Thank you for joining us this evening. This is a regularly scheduled Greer City Council meeting called and convened this evening, July the 11th, 2017. Having duly assembled this evening, I'd like to ask Councilman Riley Bettis, if he would, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and then an invocation for council. If you'll please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you once again for this opportunity to come forth and serve the people of this great city. We ask that you would guide and direct us to make decisions that are meaningful and pleasing in your eyes. Help us not forget those of us, the least of us in our community, that knowing that all decisions that we make affect them likely most of all. Help us to remember our members of the military and their families. We pray that you protect them and help them in all their circumstances. We ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Ms. Duncan, anyone to appear in public forum this evening?
No.
With that, we'll move to the minutes of the council meeting from July the 27th, 2017. Do I hear a motion to receive?
So
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any items of note for the clerk this evening? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Dumas?
Yes.
Mr. Bettis?
yes.
Ms. Albert? Yes. Mayor Danner?
Yes. Before we move to the administrator's report this evening, I'd like to give at least a brief explanation for the casualness of some of us here this evening. We took a little walk earlier today, and we're joined by a number of our council members and some folks from the community for walk with an elected official. This is the second of those events that we've done in combination with Healthy Communities, and urge you to watch news outlets for the next time that we'll have one scheduled. Hopefully we'll do it in the fall and it'll be a little bit cooler, but we hope you will join us for that event. We appreciate our recreation department and our police department for coordinating that event and their assistance in leading us in that event. It's part of our wellness program as well too, and so while the intent was to have some time to walk and visit with some of our constituents, for those of us on council that also gave us some credit on our wellness program. You hear us talk about our wellness program from time to time, a very beneficial and affirmative program that the city does, and has saved us tremendously in terms of our insurance costs. And so to those that help to implement that and help to coordinate that on an ongoing schedule, we thank you for your work in that regard as well too. With that, then, we'll move to the administrator's report. Mr. Driggers.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of council, really only one item, and that is a reminder that most of us will be traveling next week to participate with the annual meeting of the Municipal Association of South Carolina. It is a full agenda, and many of you have you've got your agendas planned out, you've got your itineraries planned out. We're looking forward to that trip next week. It is always very, very worthwhile to us. If there's any information that we can help you with as you prepare for that educational session next week, please let us know. We'll be glad to help coordinate that. That's really the only calendar item that I bring to your attention this evening, and there are no items that I would bring to council's attention for any action in executive session this evening, unless there are items from council.
Thank you, sir. With that, we'll move to appointments of boards and commissions. This evening we have two folks that are on the Board of Architectural Review whose term expired on 6/30/2017. Linda Wood's term expired then, as well as Marnie Hannon's. Ms. McCormick, you have us information in regards to their continued service, or possibly others?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Danner. We have reached out to Ms. Woods and Mr. Hannon, and both of them have expressed desire to continue to serve on the Board of Architectural Review. We actually had a meeting this morning, and while Mr. Hannon was absent, Ms. Woods was there, and she was expressed her continued interest. So we have spoken with both of them, and they are expressing interest to continue to serve on the Board of Architectural Review.
Thank you much. Council, with the recommendation of staff, I'll entertain a motion to reappoint Ms. Linda Woods for another term on the Board of Architectural Review.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments in regards to that appointment? Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin.
Yes.
Mr. Dumas.
Yes.
Mr. Bettis.
Yes.
Ms. Albert. Yes. Mayor Danner.
Yes. Also, in regards to the Board of Architectural Review, staff recommends that Marnie Hannon's term be renewed for another term as well, too. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments in regards to Mr. Hannon's service? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin.
Yes.
Mr. Dumas.
Yes.
Mr. Bettis.
Yes.
Ms. Albert. Yes. Mayor Danner.
Yes. In regards to the Election Commission, Mark Turnbull has resigned effective immediately. His term expires 12/31/2018, so there is time left on that term. Any recommendations for an Election Commission appointment this evening? Ms. Duncan, would you refresh our memory in regards to Election Commission? I know there are, 3 commissioners on that board? Is
Yes,
that
sir.
correct?
3 commissioners, 6-year terms.
6-year terms?
Yes.
Okay. All right. City resident only requirement?
City resident and
Registered voter.
Registered voter.
Okay. So if you want to give thought to that position, we'll entertain that at a later time. We obviously will need to fill it before later this fall, but we'll have an opportunity to do that in an upcoming meeting. We talked at our last meeting about the appointment of Municipal Judge Hank Mims. His term expired 6/30. We asked the administrator to speak with him in terms of his desire to continue to serve, and we'll ask Mr. Driggers if he had a chance to talk to the judge in regards to that.
Yes, sir, I did have the opportunity to share with Judge Mims that his term is now expired and he is no longer an active serving member of our bench, and he requested the opportunity to be able to present a few moments before council. I say all that in jest. Of course, he serves continuously until there's action by council, but it is an appointed term, and his term was set to expire on June 30th. Had a wonderful opportunity to meet with Judge Mims, and I have asked him if he would like to come forward this evening to offer a couple of comments to council.
Great. He is so meek and mild, he slipped in without me even noticing. Judge, the floor is yours, sir.
What he means, I usually work the room when I come in. But Mr. Mayor, Mr. Jiggers, members of council, it's good to see you all. I told my wife, and I guess since she knows me best, she understands what I mean when I say that most of the guys my age are older than me. But it's true. I mean, I still like running bulldozers and climbing trees and chasing down animals and killing them when I can. If I miss them, try to shoot them again. And so, yeah, if you'll have me, I'd love to continue to serve. This has been a real honor. Those of you who are in public service know that you don't go into public service for the financial reward. At least I found that out. You give up a lot being judged because there's cases that you can't take, people that you can't counsel. But my measure of a man is, or woman, is when you leave, that is when you leave the earth, does anybody know you were there? And I'm confident I've touched some folks. There was a lady in another jurisdiction, literally was another jurisdiction, who flipped a bird at a cop. She knows a cop. She was in the lane, and she waited for the traffic to clear. beat the horn, and she knows the cop, as she pulled off, she flipped him the bird. He pulled her over and gave her a ticket for disorderly conduct. That couldn't happen in Greer. Now, most of you think it's because, well, that's just not right. And that is part of it. Part of it is that we got a really good police department. And part of it is the judge won't let them. You can't, there's no such thing as contempt of cop. The judge won't let them. And part of my job, I'm interposed by the Constitution of this state and of the United States between the citizen and the cops. And I like that role as well. I mean, sometimes we got to let some folks go. That's so that the cops can't give you a ticket just because you pissed the cop off. And that's the way it's supposed to be. I've been part of affecting the police department. I've been part of affecting a really good court. I'm mighty proud of this court. We've done a good job, and a good job for you guys as well. I always give credit to my staff, but also to the council. Never since I've been, has any councilman come in and tried to tell me how to, with all due respect, try to tell me how to rule. And I just, talking to other of my colleagues, that's not always the case. But you guys haven't done that. I know there's times where I ruled in ways that weren't popular, but never was there any feedback or negative feedback anyway from you guys. So I give you the credit for that. And so yeah, not only do I eagerly accept another term, but I thank you for it as well. I've got your text numbers before you vote. So I don't embarrass you. I will take my leave unless you have any questions.
Any questions for the judge?
This is a more broader question. I had the opportunity Monday to be in a courtroom in Lawrence where I got to witness a lot of hearings, and one of them really stood out, but it kind of mirrored all the others. It was a young fella. He was in his early 20s, and he had been arrested for, I think they call it simple possession of marijuana. Now, he was going before the judge, and I think the judge was very fair to him, but he looked like he just climbed out of the bed. His hair literally was sticking up, and he was charged on, having an illegal substance, and he was wearing a Budweiser T-shirt. Is that a phenomenon that's somewhat new, or is that something you've seen all throughout your career?
I've seen it throughout. There are times, in fact, where the police don't even let them in. There was a woman who was at the old courthouse who came in, and my office was right there. And you come in that door, you park right at the door in front. And I came in after lunch, and I said, you got a hearing date, ma'am? And she said, yeah. I said, who's the judge? She said, well, here's ma'am. I said, dressed like that? She said, yes, I'm a police officer. Well, not only did she go change, she went out to her car and changed into more appropriate. I don't know what she thought it was going to be, but she had the clothes with her and went out to the door and changed. We've had people that Kim, who used to work for us, would just turn around and send them back. I'll tell you, I've told somebody this before. There's a lot of people who are just like you and I. The fact that we got caught doing something wrong, you're never going to see them again. Just be mortified from being caught. And then you got somewhere, if we, no matter what we do, it's not going to have any effect. And all we can do is lock them up. And then there are some where, if we take the time to nudge them, at my levels, it's called summary court. That's what the magistrate municipal courts are. Most of the people in South Carolina who go to court in any given year go through my court or a court like mine. Many of them, it's the first time they've gone through any court. It seems to me, if we'll take just a little bit more time and nudge them back, because you and I don't pay for them to sit in Perry or some other institution. You and I have at least some less chance of our property being taken or being assaulted if we take the time now. Every judge thinks he's got a magic wand. And we don't admit that it doesn't work. We have to try, one case at a time, to nudge a few of them just back on, so that I think it makes us. I have to give you the credit for quality of life court we tried. And we still do some of that, at least with that concept. The notion that part of government is to, you buy your home or you rent your home or whatever, but government should be there to ensure that whatever package of rights you've got, whether it's renting or owning, you get to enjoy them without somebody interfering with those rights. And it's just, as you said, quality of life. We got a good town here, and again, I appreciate what you guys have done as well. So, I shall take my leave, and thank you again.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. I think you can see why we continue to reappoint the judge. He does an excellent job for us, and as he leaves, I'm going to brag on him just a little bit, because as you can tell, he likes to apply a good dose of common sense to a lot of the cases, and I think that's missing. If you've ever had the opportunity to witness him in action in the court setting, it is quite a sight to behold, because he does not mind telling a young man or a young woman what they need to be doing and how they should be doing it, and what the alternative for not taking his advice is. And it has a chilling effect on most of those folks, not everybody, but as he said, he would rather nudge somebody along than he would just simply find them and let them go on their way, or stick them in a jail somewhere. And I think it serves our community well. He does an excellent job, and as he said, he works hand in hand with our police department and with and obviously our courts department. And they, I think the highest compliment that anybody could give to a judge is that I don't worry about complaints about our court department from citizens about our judge or about our court system, and I don't hear our police complaining about it either. And I think that's high praise for that kind of position, because you don't often hear that, and so that's one of the areas that I think we've been blessed in, and he just does a great job for us, and we appreciate his service. With that, then, I'll entertain a motion to reappoint Hank Mims as our municipal judge.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or comments in that regard? Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Airwood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis.
Yes.
Ms. Albert.
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Planning Commission, District 2, Judy Jones, terms expired 6/30/2017. District 3, Mark Hopper's term expired 6/30/2017. Ms. McCormick?
Thank you. We have spoken with Ms. Jones and Mr. Hopper, and both have expressed equal desire to continue to serve on the Planning Commission at our request.
Thank you, ma'am. On the advice of staff, I'll entertain a motion to receive Judy Jones for another term on the Planning Commission.
So moved.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments in that regard? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Airwood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Upon the advice of staff, entertain a motion that Mark Hopper be extended another term on the Planning Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments in that regard? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Airwood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert.
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council will move to items of old business, the first of which is the second and final reading of ordinance number 20-2017. This is an ordinance to change the zoning classification of property owned by Her Will LLC located on South Highway 14 from C2 Commercial to DRD, which is a design review district. Ms. McCormick?
Thank you, Mayor Danner. There's no new information to report tonight on this. This is the smaller of two pieces of property. We came through annexation or rezoning on the first, and this is the second, to create a new DRD there at the corner of Highway 14 and Mitchell Drive.
On the recommendation of staff, I'll entertain a motion to receive second and final reading of ordinance number 20-2017.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Floor is open for discussion. Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Earwood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert, Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council will move to items of new business, the first of which is the Suber Road Park Master Plan presentation. Ann Cunningham, our Director of Parks and Recreation, has a presentation this evening in regards to the master plan for the Suber Road Park.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I appreciate the opportunity to present the proposed South Super Road Park Master Plan to you this evening. Master plans are tangible and often visible statements of where a park is now, where it should be in the future, and what is required to get it there. And while processes for developing them vary, very good master plans are flexible and have involved the community and other stakeholders from the outset, giving the plan a legitimate base and a better chance to come to fruition. For the development of the master plan for the South Suber Road Park, Alta Planning and Design was contracted, and a steering committee was formed for the purpose to provide direction of the design and programming of this park. The steering committee was comprised of local business representatives, athletic officials, patrons, and city staff members. Alta Planning and Design held 3 meetings with the steering committee between August 2016 and December 2016. The kickoff meeting was on August the 23rd and introduced the steering committee to the project scope, tasks, and deliverables. This meeting focused on an open discussion and an assessment of the park, the needs and wants for the future of the park site, and how best to move forward with the development of the newly acquired property north and south of the existing park. This project addresses the following action items identified in our master plan: to develop and connect trails, greenways, and connections, to develop large parks and open space, and create multi-use destination parks, to renovate and upgrade small community parks and add new community parks. The ideas discussed were consolidated and would shape the production of preliminary concept designs. And the 4 primary concerns were additional soccer fields, the lack of parking, connectivity, and additional passive space. After the kickoff meeting, Alta Planning and Design was on site to help the steering committee understand the realistic opportunities and constraints. This site visit was vital to understanding existing grades, stormwater issues, ADA compliance, existing vegetation, vehicular and pedestrian circulation, and site ambience and character. This allowed Alta to combine overview concepts like soccer field placement and site circulation with smaller ideas like trash receptacle placement and erosion issues. After hearing the committee's desire for a signalized intersection on Suber Road at Suber Mill Road, Alta met with the South Carolina Department of Transportation. Analyzing current traffic counts provided by the City of Greer Police Department, it was determined that SCDOT would not support a new signal at this intersection, but would approve the implementation of a 3-lane cross-section on Suber Road through the park's main entrance. And then once South Suber Road Park is fully developed, additional traffic studies may merit a traffic signal. At the second meeting on September the 27th, Alta Planning and Design presented 3 preliminary concept designs based on information collected during the first steering committee meeting and their site visits. These designs focused on creating 3 different scenarios that accomplish similar tasks. Ideas like more parking, more soccer fields, community space, and ADA accessibility can be achieved in many configurations. These concept designs allow the steering committee to visually identify the idea of having to sacrifice one item or idea for another. This gave them an opportunity to vote on a single best design and provide ideas for improvement for the final design. The third meeting was held on December the 15th and was a presentation of a final illustrative design, an opinion of probable cost, estimates, and implementation guidance. The steering committee decided that the most practical and complete conceptual design was Concept 1, which featured a large roundabout drop-off lane, next to a new park center building designed to mimic the barn that is to be demolished. The below items are the main concept improvements that this final design accomplishes, and they're actually listed in 2 different phases. There's a terrace lawn seating, improvement of existing fields, enlarged detention pond and improved stormwater drainage, full ADA accessibility through most of the site, safety netting and multiple shade structures throughout the site, renovation of existing building and patio, new tot lot for play opportunities for families, new maintenance building and access road, expanded and improved parking to accommodate about 255 total parking spaces, the implementation of a walking trail throughout the site, 6 new soccer fields on the north property, the addition of a new destination playground, the barn park center building, vehicular circulation improvements and drop-off roundabout, expanded Sugar Road to a 3-lane cross-section, full pedestrian circulation including new crosswalks on Sugar Road, an opportunity for future trail connection into the park. This slide shows the estimated cost of the project if we built it today. And that's if we built it all at one time. And I will provide handouts so you can go through this in much greater detail. And this is a current image of the park today. And this is a long-term plan for the site and one that we can use to guide us in the development of this park for future programming. We feel this is a good, solid master plan for the South Sugar Road Park. Based on our assessment of this plan and the recommendation of the steering committee, and with your approval, I would like to ask that City Council adopt this long-term plan into the Parks and Recreation Department's master plan. And I'd be glad to take any questions that you might have. Like I said, we do have a handout that we will provide that you can go through and look in greater detail. There's a lot of information.
And it's almost bottom center, but I was looking on the legend, it said increased size of the pond. Is that a retention pond or is that actually a pond?
It's a retention area that doesn't hold water now, but it could. I guess that's what you call it. It's not like the pond we have here. It would detention or retention pond for holding stormwater.
The bottom center where it says final concept on the plan there,
Yes.
is that one parcel or is it multiple parcels in there?
That's multiple parcels. If you look today, that shows you how Suber is broken down. The center part is what is developed. That's about 10.5 acres. The parcel to the top, okay, good, is that's the newly acquired property at the north is about 6.81 acres. Mm-hmm. And then bottom, we have a house on there existing, this little 1 acre parcel at the bottom.
Okay, but judging from that topo, I'm going to assume that's a ravine or something down through there, is it not? It looks
is.
like it drops off mighty fast down through there.
There is a ravine back there.
Okay. All right, thank you. Others? On the recommendation of staff, I'll entertain a motion that that we endorse the Suber Road Park Master Plan. You'll hear a motion?
Motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Questions?
Yeah, but timeline for developing this thing out?
Long term, 5 to 10 years, we're hoping. A lot of this, things that we can start moving on now. Some things we can start looking at adding, whether it's netting on fields, and we can start possibly looking at what we can do to add additional parking. So not to wait for 5 years, but things that we can start doing in small increments.
So whatever you do in small increments will be a part of the whole. It's not going to be something to be redone.
No, it's a part of the whole. And again, this is a plan. This is so we can move forward and know it's a guide for us to know what is the overall concept.
I will add that at this point, obviously, we have not budgeted this master plan into our long-range capital programs. The first step, if we are to do that down the road, would be for us to adopt a plan. It would not be responsible for us on the staff side to start trying to allocate resources to a site that you haven't endorsed as a long-term plan. And so that's really, it puts the wheels in motion for us as we start to look at our facility needs. And then we obviously have to continue to weigh that in relation to other needs that we have throughout the city. And so to Ms. Cunningham's point, it really just, it enables us to legitimately start doing long-range planning. And again, it could be in that 5 to 10 year range simply because there may be other needs that we have that council would set as a priority in front of this. But it allows us to have a vision, and it allows us to move forward with that vision.
Ms. Cunningham, with 15 fields, would that allow us to move into hosting regional type tournaments there?
I think so. Certainly more than what we're doing now, and we're using the resources that we have now. We just we're in the process, or at the end of the process of putting in this subterranean drainage system in that top field, which is going to make a huge difference for us. We'll be able to use property just like we did at City Stadium. Now we're using those fields, or we'll be able to, so we will accommodate more. This would certainly give us the opportunity to provide more tournaments.
Good. Others?
What, for like your soccer programs, how do you develop your refs in that?
I might defer to David. Is he here, David? There is an association for your officials. I just want to make sure I don't give wrong information. There's an association, just like in most of our leagues, that will provide.
The reason I ask that is because do we have problems out of parents like we don't have the same problems then? Because I was listening, they said some of them they go into quiet because they have so many problems out of parents.
It's actually through our state league. We have 2 classifications of soccer. It's almost like you have a high level, which is an academy through the state, which we have teams that compete, and we have recreation through our own rec department. I can tell you, I have 0 issues out there on recreational nights. To my knowledge, we haven't had any issues academy-wise. I can tell you, going to the president's meeting down in Columbia with everyone else through the state, they seem to be having some major problems. We do not. We have not had any issues.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Others? Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert. Yes. Mayor Danner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
First reading of ordinance number 21-2017, an ordinance to amend the City of Greer zoning code of ordinance by adding to Article 4 definitions, Article 5 zoning district regulations, and Article 6 general provisions. Ms. McCormick?
Thank you, Mayor Danner. When reviewing the zoning ordinance recently and looking at placement of facilities that are essential for our citizens and our growing population, healthcare and the proximity thereof to subdivisions that are growing in our community seems to be a need that we are recognizing. Therefore, staff and the Planning Commission are recommending a text amendment to the City of Greer zoning ordinance to permit a new medical use in the C2 commercial zoning classification. Currently, the zoning ordinance allows certain medical uses in certain areas. However, hospitals are strictly limited to office district and to C3 by special exception, but there are no provisions for larger than doctor's office type medical uses in the C2 zoning, and that is most of our non-major corridors. So you've got Wade Hampton mostly as a C3, but then you have Buncombe and other roads that are C2 that could benefit from a larger, not a hospital, but not a little dock-in-the-box medical facility. Therefore, the addition of healthcare facility to the list of uses in the C2 district would provide the opportunity for our citizens to have greater access to health care without having to travel to those high-intensity corridors in many cases. Therefore, we propose the following text amendment to amend Article 4 of the zoning ordinance to add the definition healthcare facility to read, a facility providing one or more of the following medical services: emergency care, urgent care, medical imaging, medical clinic, laboratory, and other similar medical services. To amend 5.8.1 of the zoning ordinance to allow C2 district to have ambulance service without vehicle storage, which would mean they're allowed to have ambulances there as part of the emergency care, but it's not a parking lot for the ambulance company. And then healthcare facility up to 75,000 square feet. Where we came up with the 75,000 was looking at all of the uses that are allowed in C2, that seems to be the threshold of size of those types of uses before you cross over needing that big box in the C3 area. And then amending 5.8.2 of the zoning ordinance to allow uses over 75,000 square feet by special exception. You may have those really specific cases where they need a little bit more space. And then amending 6.7.1 of the ordinance to allow healthcare facilities to exceed the height limitations of the district therein if they increase the rear and side yard requirements or setbacks as currently set forth in 6.7.1. In summary, we feel that allowing a new medical use in C2 under certain parameters that I have outlined is a good addition to the ordinance for the citizens as we continue to grow. And I'll take any questions that you have.
Council, upon the recommendation of staff, I'll entertain a motion to receive ordinance 21-2017.
So moved.
Have a motion?
Second.
And a second. Floor is open for discussion. Questions? Comments? Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Airwood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council, first reading of ordinance 22-2017, an ordinance to provide for the annexation of properties owned by Helen Atkins, also known as Helen Westmoreland, located on Burns Road by 100% petition, and to establish a zoning classification of R12 for said property. Ms. McCormick?
Thank you, Mayor Danner. This property is existing as 60.206 acres comprised of 2 parcels, and additionally 1,456 feet of roadway along Burns Road would be half of the road. The other half is already annexed into the city along this property. And the requested zoning is for R12 single-family residential. It is under contract with a developer to purchase and then construct a single-family residential subdivision on this property. They have been to the Planning Advisory Committee with the subdivision plan for an R12 cluster development. And while that is not part of your review this evening, it will be coming to Planning Commission as a preliminary plat after the zoning and annexation is complete. And that's all I have this time.
By show of hand, is the owner of the property or a representative of the owner of the property with us this evening? Is there anything that you would like to add to this discussion at this point? Okay. Let the record indicate that someone showed that they were here to represent the property. This comes to you with a recommendation of staff. I'll entertain a motion to receive ordinance number 22-17 for the purpose of discussion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Floor is open for discussion. Questions? Comments? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Airwood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. First reading of ordinance number 23-2017, an ordinance to provide for the annexation of a portion of property owned by FCR Estate Partnership located on Old Jones Road by 100% petition, and to establish a zoning classification of R12 for said property. Ms. McCormick?
Thank you, Mayor Danner. Similarly, and right around the corner from the property we just heard on Old Jones Road, this is a 38.259 acre parcel. It's a portion of a larger parcel that does have access on Freeman Farm Road. However, they are splitting and subdividing where the access would only be on Old Jones Road. Again, a developer is in contract to purchase this property to develop an R12 cluster subdivision, and as such, it has been to the Planning Advisory Committee and will come before Planning Commission upon successful annexation and zoning of this property. That's all I have at this time.
By show of hand, is the owner of the property or representative of the owner of the property with us this evening? Let the record indicate no one said so, indicated so. I'll entertain a motion to receive.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Floor is open for discussion. Questions? Comments? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. First reading of ordinance number 24-2017, an ordinance to provide for the annexation of property owned by Marsco LLC located on Inglesby Street by 100% petition and to establish a zoning classification of DRD for said property. Ms. McCormick?
Thank you, Mayor Danner. This will be familiar to you all. We had an application last month for property on Inglesby Street, and this is a small piece that needed to be annexed into the city. The other portion was for rezoning. This is the annexation to complete the remainder of that parcel. I'll be glad to go over that project, but I think we heard a lot about it last time. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those.
By show of hand, is the owner of the property or representative of the owner of the property with us this evening? Record indicate no one said so. I'll entertain a motion to receive.
So moved.
Need a second? Got a second? Floor is open for discussion.
Are you sure we went over it?
Just a
Comments?
little bit.
I got two more.
Quickly, Ms. Duncan.
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council, any items that need to go before us for an executive session? Hearing none. Stand adjourned.